Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the 5th edition Vampire the Masquerade tabletop role-playing rules by World of Darkness. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. Listeners should know that this podcast is intended for a mature audience and will include strong language and mature themes. All content, including names, places, events, companies, and so forth, that may bear resemblance to entities living, dead, or undead is strictly coincidental. My name is Rena Henze, and for tonight's game, I will be your storyteller. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Blood Moon Rising, the Old Ways podcast, Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle. I am your storyteller Rena, and tonight we are going to be having some meetings, perhaps, on Halloween. But first, we need to get to our introductions, so to my right.
Hi, this is Mike, and I play Marcus Voss of Clan Bruja.
And to Marcus's right.
Hi, I'm John, and I'm playing Vince Markovich of Clan Tremere.
And next to Vince.
Hi, my name's Tegan, and I'm playing Rom the Shaman of Clan Malkavian.
This is Ali, and I play Katerina Bogdanovich, and I may have caused some trouble.
Just a little bit. Little trouble never hurt anyone, right? And next to Ali.
This is Tiffany, and I play Alex Giovanni, and I'm going to be real mad if my meetings don't go the way they're supposed to. Well, the one. Anyways.
One of many. And last but not least, we have our special guest with us again.
Yes, hi, I'm Scott, and I'm playing William Mallet of Clan Ventru, who is just so excited to meet you all.
Oh, yes. We'll see how that goes. All right, so we open tonight on October 31st, Halloween 2022, and all of you have received a missive inviting you to a meeting with one William Mallet. You all reacted in various ways, some more positive than others, but we will begin with one Marcus Voss on his way to pick up Vince Markovich.
Yeah, I think the soundtrack for tonight is Alice in Chains.
Sounds about right. So you make your way to Vince's bungalow in perhaps a less pleasant mood than you were in the last night when you visited him. The music is loud, the night is chill, and you come roaring up outside of Vince's home. Vince, what are you wearing?
Vince is wearing the same suit he wore when he met the Tremere Whip. So, not a perfect fit, but close enough. And a shirt and tie, skinny little tie that he has. And he's just like, yeah, this is the nicest clothes I have.
You feel a tug on your tie as someone adjusts the knot for you.
He lets himself be led over to the mirror and fixes it. Just like, thank you, Mina. We have to talk later. I'll check in, okay?
Something ruffles your hair. It's like a breath of wind. And then you hear Marcus pull up outside.
Takes a deep breath, puts the invitation he was given in his pocket, and out the door he goes and locks it after him.
See, you're learning.
Yeah, I just can't believe someone just walked into the house. I mean, I get technically it's Mina's, but I'm the closest one to living in there. I mean, we're both dead, but
At least you've remembered to lock it tonight.
Exactly.
So the two of you head off to your meeting. Do you talk about anything as you drive? How are you both feeling?
Yeah, I think Marcus probably feels he's probably a little bit frustrated, but the inevitability of the meeting was going to happen anyway. So he'd already accepted the fact that it was going to happen, and there was likely nothing to be done about it. And so his perspective is the only way is through. And I guess he'd probably mention to Vince that when meeting with any sort of clan elder, it's very important to think twice before you speak. And I know that might sound funny coming from someone like me, but I'd really rather your head stay right where it's at.
You're very considerate, Marcus. I've kind of learned the hard way about the talking to clan elders bit, but he's like, look, the Van Ness meeting did not go well. It was a bit of a disaster, but hopefully this will go better. I mean, hopefully I won't discover horrible truths about this guy.
Oh, I'm sure you will. But more importantly, remember what I talked to you about last night. You have an awful lot of leverage in your position, and letting people just push you around isn't going to help long term. They're just going to make you they'll make you a puppet or a pawn.
He nods. He's like, I hadn't considered that, I have the capacity to not be that, but, well, I don't think I have an option to keep being in that position, so I'm going to have to learn and adapt.
You ever think about getting a different place?
I've considered it, but, I mean, technically I think Karen's will is me. Do I inherit her stuff? I don't know if she had a will.
I can tell you that the house is nice and clean.
Honestly, I'd worry about Mina if I wasn't there.
Well, right, but...
Yeah, I know I'm worried about a ghost, but still.
No, it's reasonable to be worried about this. I kind of make a gesture in the air. Like, Marcus doesn't really know how to explain it while he's driving, but he just kind of makes a turn with his hand in the air. I get there's these... Mina, right?
Yeah.
But it's her house, right?
Technically, as I understand it, yeah.
You are aware that our society works quite a bit on technicalities, right?
He's like, I've noticed. I've picked up on that.
Yes, and so Mina then could invite someone into the house that maybe you don't want.
He's like, or they could invite someone who I wasn't expecting, like Alex yesterday.
Oh, certainly. Not that you wouldn't want Alex in the house.
Not at all. Just, wasn't expecting it.
Just something to think about. I keep driving.
So the two of you pull up into the parking garage that services this part of the financial district, including the Opticon skyrise. And William, you've already been there for about an hour now, waiting for people, working on other things. What have you been doing while you're waiting to see if your missives draw the flies in?
Reading reports. I rely, obviously, on local contacts, and yes, I've just gathered up what information I've been able to get hold of, and been sitting quietly in the boardroom just reading through the notes and memos that other people have sent me, and just trying to make sense of this whole mess, and patiently waiting for my visitors to arrive. I've given Miss Archambault instructions to meet the visitors as they arrive and to direct them through to a waiting room until everyone is there.
Excellent. So you give Sophie her instructions and you go have a look at all the things that have happened between your arrival and this evening. And you see that there's multiple missing persons reports happening in the human world. So several high-profile people have begun disappearing. The police are reluctant to connect it, you see in this report, to the spate of murders of homeless people that have happened over the last couple of weeks. But a lot of journalists aren't convinced that this is a coincidence. And the mortals seem to be up in arms at the moment, which is a little bit concerning because the more on edge they are, the harder it is to protect the masquerade.
Quite.
So you read through these reports and you hear Sophie buzz in from the desk outside. Monsieur Mallet?
Oui.
There are some people here. I will go downstairs to meet them,
Very good.
but only 2.
Oh dear. Well, they can wait until their friends arrive. I have plenty to keep me busy until then.
Très bien. And the intercom hisses off. Marcus and Vince, you are met downstairs in the lobby by this tall, middle-aged woman, very well put together, her hair piled up neatly in a bun. And she's wearing this very neat tailored suit and very high stilettos. And she looks at a clipboard and looks back at you and says, Monsieur Voss?
Yes.
And Monsieur Markovich?
Yes, that's me.
This way, please. And she leads you into a waiting room. There's several couches, fairly nice, stack of magazines, TV on to a sports channel, water cooler, coffee and tea. It says, Monsieur Mallet will see you when it is time. Please have a seat.
I sit down.
Yeah. Vince sits down and it's just like, I could be working on my research, Do we have any idea what he wants with us?
I mean, I could make 100 assumptions if you'd like.
I was just hoping for past experience.
With William Mallet, none.
Okay. And he just sits there and folds his hands, stares down at his shoes.
As the two of you sit twiddling your thumbs in the waiting room, so to speak, let's have a look at what Rom and Alex are up to. So, Rom, you have taken a shower, took a little bit to get all the blood out of your hair and your fingernails and your toenails, but you've finally scrubbed up enough that Alex deems it sufficient, and they have lent you one of their suits that are a little bit baggier, not as tailored, and you look somewhat presentable. So, what are the two of you intending to do?
I want to, while Rom was in the shower, I was going to lay out our costumes and stuff so that when we're done, we can go to this party. I'm going to be real salty if we can't go to the party. But I'm going to usher Rom out into the car, and then we're going to head back to Vera's place to hopefully have a meeting with grandmother.
Okay. Only took the edge off. You're still pretty hungry, and you still feel unwell. You're still missing chunks of yourself. But it's a little bit better. The edge is off. So the two of you make your way to Vera's home. And there is a note on the door addressed to you, Alex.
Okay.
Inside is a handwritten note that says, "You will excuse me. I have had to leave town for a little bit. You can contact me in," and she gives an address in Italy, "if you need me for anything, cousin. But grandmother is here. She has a key, and she'll be waiting for you. Good luck." And then Vera Giovanni in elegant handwriting at the end.
Oh, shit. No mediator. Okay. Well, I'll put the note in my pocket. And I recognize the town in Italy, correct? That she's in?
You do.
Okay.
Yeah, she's going to a village outside Bologna.
So I can assume she's going home, which she was afraid before. So guess I'm not that surprised. I would have smuggled her out, but that's okay. Then, I guess I'll ring the doorbell and hope things go well.
You ring the bell, and a moment later, the door opens, and both of you see a very, very old woman. Physically old. She's walking with a cane, slightly bent over. Her hair is long and gray and neatly braided. She's wearing a 1940s style house dress. And her eyes are glassed over. She appears to be blind. But she smiles at the two of you and says, you must be the Giovanni and the Malkavian Oracle, yes? Vera said you would be coming?
Yes.
I am grandmother. Please come in. And she ushers you in.
I give a little bow.
Yeah, we'll enter.
The door closes. She ushers you into a side room that Alex, you know to be the sitting room.
Mm-hmm.
And she points with her cane to a specific chair and says, Oracle, you sit here and don't touch anything.
I'm going to look at him sternly like, you better fucking listen.
I put my hands in my lap.
And she gestures to another chair for you, Alex.
I will take a seat.
And she stands in the middle of the room, holding on to her cane. And she's got the heightened senses of most kindred, so she can make her way around without needing to see with her eyes. But she does seem to be looking directly through you. It's a little unsettling, Rom. Not to you, Alex, but Rom for sure. And she says, well, you know, I am here and I know you are here. What do you wish, children?
When I last spoke to Vera, she had mentioned that you were waiting for the Oracle, or that you would only speak to the Oracle. So I assumed, since Rom has had some visions, that maybe he is the Oracle you're looking for?
She turns towards you, Rom, and she holds out a hand and says, lean forward, child.
I do as I'm told.
Good boy. And she runs her hands over your face. You can feel her wrinkled fingers under your eyes, gently running along the curve of your chin. Yes, this is the one. This is the one. You can sit down again. And she turns and she hobbles her way over to a low couch on the other side of the room, settles in, leans back, takes a deep breath. Unnecessary, of course, but for dramatic effect. What do you know, child?
Me?
Yes.
I know we're in deep shit, respectfully, of course. Pardon my French. I know that, and I look at Alex, the Sabbat is poisoning the blood supply here, and we're dreaming.
She nods. Yes, I have much experience. She chuckles, this dry, rasping chuckle. I am not the oldest, Tremere, but not too far from it. I've seen many things, and I will tell you, I know who is here. They are smaller than you think, but more powerful than you know. She leans forward on her cane. Those eyes are making deep contact with you. They can't see you, but they can see you.
Do you mean that their numbers are few?
Yes, they're small. Not like before. Not in the war. But a smaller group can cause great havoc. And she chuckles, as the 5 of you should know.
I'll chuckle in unison. Yeah. Stuff. What's their goal? Why San Francisco? Of all places in the world?
She sighs. I know what I know because one of my children is with them. That is the only reason I'm still around, because he protects me from them. They don't know. But why they're here, well, that should be obvious. The Camarilla here, including some of your friends, did some very great damage during the war to the Sabbat. Many died. Your friend Marcus was responsible for much of it. And the prince used their tactics against them very effectively. Several sires died, even. You see what I'm getting at.
This is revenge.
Revenge, chaos, confusion, all of the tricks of the trade.
All right, well, we have a motive, but did you want to talk to us because you had a way to either stop this contagion or a way to stop them? Is there something you needed to tell us?
I came here first to see Vera, and then when I understood what was going on, I did some work on my own. But I understand you have your own little Tremere doing your work now.
Yeah, we gotta Build-A-Bear. He's great, but he needs support.
If I may interject,
You may speak.
he is new. Like, real new. And his sire didn't do the best job getting him up to speed. So
Lizzie, or whatever she's going by now.
was going by.
Ah, yes, was. Time doesn't matter so much at my age.
Understandable. I'm trying to get Mina Markovich to help him out a little bit, but I don't know how much she's going to be able to help.
Ah, she's still around, is she? Tricky one, that.
In one form of or another, but yes.
That could work. The reason I wanted to speak to you, Malkavian, is I need to hear your vision. You saw them, didn't you? You had a vision. Not just the dreaming, the vision. I need to know it.
I did. I don't know how much you're going to understand. Seeing something visually is different than being able to describe it out loud. The terror involved, the emotion involved. Is there another way I can share it with you?
I was going to ask, can you share it with her the way Dina shared it with you?
I can try.
You have power, child. You are using it on silly things these days, but you have it. I need to see.
I'll reach my hands, palms up out to her, and I'll give it my best shot.
Okay, so I'm going to need a rouse check from you. Rousing your blood to use your power.
Okay, I can tell that didn't work.
Yes, so you failed that, so you're up to 4 hunger again.
Yay!
So you touch her hands and you try to channel all of your skill, your power, everything you've learned, along with the force of this terror and this pain and this vision into her mind the way Dina showed you. But you're so hungry and you hurt and you're tired and you are overwhelmed and you just feel yourself losing control. You're getting hungrier.
Used to this feeling.
Yes, you are. You're getting hungry again. That bagged blood was not enough. And you can't see through the fog and the shadows. You're feeling yourself being pulled into this dream yourself. Would you like to spend a willpower point to reroll and try again?
Yes, please.
All right, so spend a willpower point. You can attempt to rouse your blood again. Keep in mind, if you fail this next one, you're in trouble. Okay, so you succeeded, which is good. Otherwise, some bad shit would have happened. So.
Good.
You shake your head, you re-impress on yourself how important this is. You can feel the tenseness of the old woman's fingers in your hands, and you can feel her own emotion as she's willing you to do this. And you close your eyes, shake your head, and you manage, with one giant burst of energy, to channel this vision into her mind directly. And it's like an explosion in her mind. You can feel her pull back physically. And you can almost see in this dream realm of a sorts that Dina brought you to, you can see her stumble back with the force of your raw power. And you share the vision that Dina showed you. You share the vision that you saw when you were fighting with Trevor Conrad before he disappeared. Everything.
I'll be seeing you, Ram.
And Alex, you just see Rom and the grandmother go rigid as they're sitting there holding hands. And you see Rom's eyes go milky white. And it feels like an eternity to both of you. But it's only a few moments before, Rom, you feel yourself being shoved backwards physically.
Ugh.
And mentally as you are pushed out of grandmother's mind. That's enough, young man. That's quite enough, grandmother says in the real world, shaking her head, rubbing her hand across her forehead. I see. This is bad. I can't do the spells and the rituals and everything for you. Not anymore. But I know how to help you. I just ask that if you find my son, make it quick.
I promise.
She looks deeply sad. Like depths of sadness you haven't seen in a long time, Alex. Very well. And she reaches into a bag and she pulls out a small vial of deep red vitae. And she hands it to you, Alex, and says, give this to the child, Tremere. What did you call him, young man? The Build-A-Bear? I don't know what that means.
He's cute and cuddly.
Whatever. Give him this. It will help. And if he survives, he can come to me. And I will foster parent. If he survives, which is not by any means guaranteed.
I understand. And I would be deeply grateful if you could help him in the ways of Tremere. He needs it.
She nods. The clan is very insular, as you know. I am too old for such things. I have never really cared all that much. Many of us are drawn here for that reason. I am a sort of neutral party, and I think that's what he needs, from what I have heard from Vera.
I agree.
If you do as I ask, and if you all survive this, well, we will see. But, and she looks sad again, there's not much time. It's coming.
We are aware. We are moving as fast as we can, and with your help, thank you very much. Hopefully we can not turn this city completely red.
I am not optimistic anymore, but you can try. And she stands up, hobbles over to the door in a clear sign of dismissal. And she looks at you, Rom. You have a lot of power, young one. It needs to be channeled properly. And stop antagonizing the gangrel.
Alex actually probably chuckles just a little bit.
Noted. Yeah, it's not like I haven't been hearing my entire life. You'd be so good if you just apply yourself.
Well, thank you.
You are welcome, young ones.
We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
I wish you all the best.
Now we have a venture to go visit.
Good luck. And tell Billy grandmother says hello. She smirks just a little bit.
Oh, I will.
You leave the house and head off to your meeting, where Vince and Marcus have been sitting for about half an hour now, waiting and waiting. So, Katerina, you destroyed your invitation, and you apparently have no intention of going to this meeting. So what are you doing?
First things first, I am writing a letter, and I am taking it to a very specific individual.
All right. So you deliver your letter. You still haven't heard from Lucy.
Yeah, the next thing is to find a taxi and go to Lucy's Haven.
Okay. So you get in the car. The taxi pulls up. It's fairly easy to find taxis around downtown. And they drop you off at an apartment building. It's a fairly nice apartment building. It's down near Chinatown, near the center of things. Easy access to a lot of the city's nightlife. And it's fairly nice, actually. And Lucy's Haven is on the 4th floor. It's a walk up, so you have to take the stairs.
Not a problem. I will go up all the stairs.
You go upstairs, and it's very quiet up here. You hear a couple people, humans you assume, down the hallway having a bit of a party. There's some loud music, but it's nothing out of the ordinary.
Well, I'm going to go to her door and knock on it.
A few moments later, a very sleepy voice says,
Lucy opens the door.
But you hear the door starting to unlock. And you see very sleepy looking Lucy in a long white nightgown. And her hair is tousled. There's mascara running down her face. She does not look her usual well put together self. Katerina? What?
Were you dreaming?
I was dreaming last week. Didn't sleep last day. Can't sleep. So tired.
Lucy?
I'm so tired.
Lucy, I'm going to help you. But first, I need you to get dressed, and I am going to take you somewhere so that you will be safe while we figure this out, okay?
Oh, I just want to sleep. Okay. Hungry. Tired. And she sort of stumbles off back to what you assume is her bedroom. She does not look well.
So I'm going to wait for her to emerge.
She comes out and she's managed to put on a dress. Perhaps jeans were a bit too involved. And she's holding her phone and looking at it in confusion. Says, "No battery."
That is all right. Yeah, let me carry that for you. And let's get you into a car, yeah?
Okay. And she stumbles along. Her eyes are looking kind of red, and I don't mean the tired kind of red. And you have to sort of turn her head into your shoulder as you help her down the stairs so that anyone who comes by doesn't see how her face is looking more bestial. I'm just so tired, Katerina. Why can't I sleep? Oh.
There are some problems in the city right now, which is why I'm taking you where you will be safe, yeah?
Okay, just... Oh, screaming. No screaming. Oh, I ate somebody. He's in my bed. He's in my bed.
Understood. I will call someone to come and take care of it. Do not worry about it.
Okay. Yeah. You're great.
Thank you. And I will hail another taxi.
All right. So you take Lucy off to the farm, and you can pass her over to Margarita, and Margarita looks very worried at this moment, and she and Cora help set up a room for Lucy away from everybody else. So as that's going on, Alex and Rom have arrived at the office of the Opticon building, and you have also been shown into this waiting room by the older French woman in her impossibly high heels. And Marcus and Vince are already there, and they appear to have been waiting for a little bit.
Hey, Marcus.
Rom? Alex?
I got you a thing. And I passed Marcus a box cutter.
What's this for?
Stuff. You need a box cutter.
For what?
I don't have an answer for that right now, but I'm sure it will become obvious.
I take the box cutter.
I'm gonna sit down next to Vince and lean over quietly and tell him that I just had a meeting with someone who will teach him all about his clan and what he needs to do, and got him help on the task at hand.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. And his eyes narrow and he's like, is there a cost to all of this, or?
Well, we have to survive all of this, as I gesture like broadly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if we come across her son, who is a part of the other side, we have to put him down.
And Vince nods. He's like, oh, that was a given. I've been thinking about some things, and yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I can't forgive what they did to Karen.
Agreed.
But you're gonna like her. She's a real nice old lady.
She is. I actually quite like her. The help I'll have to give you later and explain it to you. This is not the place.
Okay. We'll talk about it after. Hopefully we will be seeing sometime tonight, because...
Oh, we better, because I have a party to attend.
Vince is like, oh, that's lovely, a party. Like, he slips back into human talk for a second. He's like, oh, that's great.
I don't think it'd be a party that you'd be comfortable at. As I like pat him on the head.
No, but it'd be really entertaining, Alex. Come on.
So, William, as you've been sitting in your office, going through your paperwork, Sophie knocks on the door.
Ah, yes,
Monsieur
Sophie.
Mallet?
Yes.
Two more are here, the Giovanni and the the shaman.
Ah, very good.
She looks disapproving.
Very good. Is Miss Bogdanovich here yet?
No. And the ones we have at the bakery on the street, they say she left and did not come back.
That's disappointing. May I impose upon you to ask her friends whether they have some way of contacting her and imparting a sense of urgency?
Oui, monsieur. And she closes the door gently, and a few moments later, the four of you see Sophie Archambault come back in, and she looks at you down her nose a little bit and says, Monsieur Mallet would like to know if you can contact Miss Bogdanovich and ask her to arrive soon. He would like to speak to all of you at the same time.
I just glance towards Marcus. I'm
Me
not
too.
gonna.
Yeah, I'm looking right at Marcus.
I look back at them.
See? Box cutter.
Vince kind of just readjusts himself in his chair a little bit. And he's like, I've got her number. I'll message her pager, see if I can't get through.
Merci.
No problem.
And she just stands there waiting.
Yeah, so he has to sit there like sending a text and be like, glance up, go back to his phone, glance up. Yeah, so he's going to send a message being like, Katerina Panopticon. It's like V.V.V. important. Because he's trying to minimize the amount of letters used.
So, Katerina, you get a message on your pager as you leave the farm.
I will pull out my pager and I will crush it with my foot.
Oh my. So you crush the pager, it stops its beeping, and Vince, you don't get any indication that your message was seen. No one's phone starts ringing.
And he just like helplessly looks up at this tall French woman and he kind of just shrugs at her. He's like, Katerina is very difficult to reach. It's not uncommon for this sort of thing to happen.
Well, especially coming from her. She always thinks she has better things to do.
Ah, I see. I will be right back. And she clicks out of the room again. And William, she pokes her head into your office and says, she is not responding to the message.
That is disappointing. I suppose I'd better see the others then. We can make alternative arrangements for Miss Bogdanovich later.
Very well, monsieur. And a moment later, the four of you are greeted by Miss Archambault once more as she says, Monsieur Mallet will see you now. This way, please.
I stand up.
I will stand up and smooth my suit out.
Vince readjusts his tie.
Yeah, I don't have a tie to adjust, but that's fine.
I tighten the straps on my sandals.
Okay, so Sophie leads you down the hallway into the boardroom. And Scott, if you want to describe what the room looks like, what they're walking into.
Sure, this is a very old-fashioned boardroom for what is such a modern building. It has oak-panelled walls and some oil paintings up on the wall of people you don't recognize. There is a drinks cabinet in one corner, a long oaken table with some straight-back chairs that look like they're designed for appearance rather than comfort. And there at the head of the table, surrounded by paperwork, is William Mallet just making a few notes on a document. He doesn't look up as you come in. Oh, and also there is a very large woman sitting in the corner in a chair watching you.
I'm not going to sit till I'm told to sit.
He's learning.
After a few moments, William finishes annotating whatever it is he's working on and looks up and says, wonderful. At least 4 of you made it. Please do make yourselves comfortable.
I'll take a seat.
I'm sitting next to Alex.
So, yes, as I'm sure you're aware, I am William Mallet. And I've come to town, well, for a variety of reasons. But one of the primary ones was because I wanted to meet you. You're of interest to me. I believe that your prince holds you in high esteem, or at least they hold you in high enough esteem that they have charged you with some fairly important tasks. And I really wanted to see the people that they had trusted with these hugely important things, and I suppose to impart a sense of urgency on behalf of not only myself but the Camarilla at large, and also to hear from you directly as to what you think is going on. Primarily, I suppose my main interest is with the death of my dear friend, Mr. Conrad, but his death does seem to be symptomatic of a larger problem, or a series of problems within San Francisco. And, well, I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. Why don't you tell me what you think is happening here at the moment? What you believe is behind my friend's death, and why it appears that a city of the importance of San Francisco to the Camarilla appears to be in the process of falling apart rather spectacularly.
I look around at the table.
Vince is also looking around at the others, and he's like, well...
Yeah, Marcus sees me looking right back at him.
Oh, Alex is trying really, really hard to keep their mouth shut.
I suppose the best I can guess, and I make that as an educated guess, after the recent evidence, is San Francisco is suffering from a Sabbat problem. But this is merely one symptom of its true sickness.
What do you believe is the true sickness?
A failure of leadership.
Interesting. Would you be talking about our esteemed prince?
I think the prince is part of the issue, the way they lead or choose to, and the choices that they've made as far as their inner council goes. I would speak first to the relative lack of a Nosferatu primogen at all. Something which would show perhaps either a failure of faith in their membership or just a lack of desire to appoint someone to speak for the clan, which would only fracture the rest of the clan, knowing that it had no voice on the Primogen Council meetings. That's just one of the many issues.
And what are your views on the gangrel situation?
I suppose I would ask which situation. You mean them leaving the city?
Well, I mean, that obviously is part of it, but it's where the situation is going now. I've seen reports, and William digs around the piles of papers in front of him, that the country gangrels are making alliances, or at least making tentative alliances, with the anarchs.
Well, those of us who've lived in the city for a while understand that Oakland has, for many decades, been a center of anarch movements and population. This spiked probably about 30 years ago during the sect war here. And for some time, the city and its former sheriff, Luther Garibaldi, worked a alliance of sorts with them to keep them, well, I suppose on that side of the bay, so to speak. But with the recent issues concerning this sickness that has taken so many kindred lives here, the country and city gangrel have come apart. There was an attempt to mediate this dispute with Luther as part of that mediation team, but it failed, seemingly.
Yes.
I would also like to add that this is not a mere Sabbat attack. It's a Black Hand attack. There is a difference.
What makes you say that?
We have someone who has visions, and therefore that mark was left in the vision. And I believe it because it isn't just one person who has seen it.
That's interesting and troubling. I think you're right in that this is very much a crisis of leadership at the moment. I may be speaking out of turn here, but I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that the eyes of the camera at large are focused very much on San Francisco at the moment, and very much on the performance of Prince Velasquez. I worry how tenable their leadership is at this stage. Do you see anyone else within society at large here who, were the prince to fall, would be able to ensure a degree of continuity?
I think when William says we're the prince to fall, I probably raise an eyebrow just slightly. Well, there is a fairly stable Primogen Council, minus the one that's just been blood hunted.
Yes.
I smirked just slightly.
That is an interesting definition of stable given the circumstances, but I'll allow it.
I'm certain that there are members here, kindred society members, who are willing to show stability. I think many of us have been greatly concerned, chiefly with the current focus of tasks, which is making sure that clean blood is accessible.
Of course.
But this is simply another wave. Past that, though, I'm certain there are members of your own clan who would be willing to look at that role.
Yes, that would be an obvious choice, even if it were just as an interim or caretaker role until something more permanent could be arranged. But yes, that may be for the best. But we'll have to see how events play out. Speaking of events, I am rather saddened as well by the death of the sheriff here as well. I must admit that I didn't know Mr. Garibaldi personally, but I did know him by reputation. And I understand that he was really quite fastidious and, well, at least, maybe that's the wrong word, but competent. And I believe that he had taken an interest in my friend Felix Conrad. It would be entirely in keeping, I believe, if Mr. Garibaldi had perhaps put together a dossier or whatever information that he could on Mr. Conrad. I would take it as a personal favor if you were able to locate any information that he had and pass it to me.
I look around the table. I look actually directly at Rom.
What?
Mr. Ram, I believe. Are you familiar with what I'm talking about? Do you have any information to share?
But what in particular would you like to know? I'm an open book.
I'm sure you are. As are we all. But as I was saying about any information that the former sheriff may have had on my friend Felix Conrad. And if you want an incentive here, Mr. Ram, how close are you to your sire?
I wouldn't call us close. We went very separate ways. He's I might have some information that I could provide.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not interested at all in information about your sire. I have all the information I need. I just simply thought that if you had some sentimental attachment to him, that perhaps I could help make some of the problems facing him go away before they became unmanageable.
Of course.
And it would be very, very unfortunate if some of those problems perhaps tainted you by association. Because I remember, and again, William picks up a bit of paperwork, I have heard disquieting rumors that you have a tendency to treat the masquerade as optional.
No, that is the farthest from the truth. These rumors, they are unfounded.
Of course, they are just rumors, and I am the last person who would pay attention to such malicious gossip. But if these rumors were to gain traction, that could be
absolutely
unfortunate.
Rom already has his cell phone out and is...
If I may interrupt, the only thing that I know that Rom got from the investigation at Luther's place was the last phone number he called and the last place.
Yes, I have it here.
Yes.
Here it is.
We tracked it down to the Vampire Club, which is, I think, part of the reason why there is a blood hunt.
Interesting.
At this moment, there's a knock on the door, William.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Sophie pokes her head in. Sorry to interrupt, monsieur, but Miss Bogdanovich has arrived downstairs.
Ah, marvelous. Do send her up.
Oui, monsieur. The door closes, and Katerina, you are met down in the lobby by this tall French woman. So, you are late, but Monsieur Mallet and your friends are waiting for you.
Thank you.
And she leads you into the boardroom, where you see everyone else sitting and talking to William.
Ah, Miss Bogdanovich, please do have a seat. We took the liberty of starting without you. I was quite worried that you weren't going to turn up. You do seem to be a very busy young woman. I suppose, though, even with your busy schedule, there may be time in your calendar for some recreational activities. And I think that you are late to a meeting with me again. I may introduce you to a new recreational activity. and implant an overwhelming desire in your head to go sunbathing.
I do apologize for being late.
Not at all. Have a seat. We're all friends here.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit down. Not right now.
So, as I was just saying to your friends, I am very, very interested in the activities of the late Luther Garibaldi, and in particular, what he was looking into with Felix Conrad. Would you have any information on that?
Well, all I know about, Luther is that he had asked me about, some important things regarding my business. And then before we could follow up, he was dead.
Unfortunate.
As far as Mr. Conrad, I never met him. So I have very little I can tell you about him.
Since tonight is Halloween, I could always see if I can get in touch with Luther and ask him some questions. But I can't promise anything because I don't even know if he's still around.
Well, I suppose it can't hurt to try. Yes, that could be very useful. Yes, and if it turns out that he has a cache of papers that you have not come across yet, I mean, who knows what useful information could be found there. Yes, do ask him if you can. And send him my regards.
I will see what I can do, but I cannot promise anything. I haven't heard anything from him since his passing. Actually, from anybody that has passed in this terrible fashion.
Vince leans forward and clears his throat a little bit. He's like, I have reason to believe that all the victims were seen to have their tongues removed, or torn them out, rather, in some cases. I have reason to believe this was done to prevent them from communicating with someone with Alex's talents. In every single case we have found, the tongue was removed.
Oh, I mean, that does suggest a very, not only deliberate attempt to stop anyone communicating after death, but a degree of knowledge in how to prevent that. Does that sound like anyone you might know, Alex?
No, but I do have information that there is a Tremere working with them.
Interesting. But do you know who this Tremere is, or just simply the fact they are from the clan?
Grandmother said she sends her regards to you.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, Scott, you know grandmother. She's almost as old as you are. You've had many interactions over the past few centuries. Sort of a flirtatious dancing around danger.
I'm sure we are the most terrific friends.
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh, well, yes, I do give my regards to her as well. It's been far too long since we met. Yes, I'm trying to think. The last time we were in each other's presence, I wonder whether there even was an America then. Anyway, sorry. When you get to my age, it's nostalgia is a bit of a peril, and we must take the present the way we find it, even if it is often disappointing. Speaking of disappointments, I do worry that without a strong presence leading San Francisco at the moment, that things are simply going to get worse and worse. I don't want to speak ill of your prince, but I am very worried that the city is falling into chaos at the moment, and chaos is dangerous to us. It is dangerous to us all. It will get us all killed, regardless of our politics and our allegiances. Ultimately, the Camarilla is a tool for survival, and those who cannot serve the Camarilla well risk our survival. And while I understand that you all serve the prince, and some of you, looking particularly at Alex, may have stronger reasons than others to be loyal, I would advise you to treat your allegiances lightly at the moment. And at these trying times, to remember who your real friends are. And with that, if there is anything I can do for you to help you in your tasks, your duties, your, I suppose, mission at the moment, please do let me know. I will be in town for a while, and I would only be too happy to help in any way I can.
I look back at the rest of the group and say, as far as the prince's orders for the coterie, those have been completed. Found the source of what was plaguing the kindred of San Francisco. Our aim now is to potentially locate and effect a cure for it. Although that is not part of our coterie duties, it seems in everyone's benefit.
Yes, I think that is admirable. And I think as well that you should take a holistic view of that, and where you see disease in the body politic, maybe look for ways of curing that disease. But I'm sorry, I've taken up more than enough of your time. I understand this is a big night for you, and I am so delighted to have met you. If there is anything at all I can do for you, please do get in touch with Ms. Archambault here, and she will pass a message on to me. And anything at all I can do for you, within reason, of course, I would only be too delighted to do.
Very well.
I will be sure that if I find any locations of said Black Hand, I will send them your way.
Very good. Very good.
I stand up.
If there's nothing else I can help you with.
No, I think it's perhaps it's time to enjoy our Halloween.
Yes, I do have quite the party to attend.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
So do you all leave?
Yeah, I usher Ram out. Like, I grab his hand and practically drag him out. Let's get the fuck out.
I walk out and just with Vince and Katerina.
Vince is actually going to hang back a little bit. He's just going to, as we're leaving, he's going to be like, I may be performing a ritual soon and can't quite count on some folks within my own clan. I may have to ask you for some ingredients, Mr. Hammer, but...
Mr. Hammer, did you say?
And he just stops dead. He's just like, fuck, I said it.
William actually seems rather amused at this.
And he's like, you see, I was told you're called the Hammer and your surname is Mallet, Mallet. And he makes a hand gesture that's kind of like, you can see how I confused the two.
Of course.
I must never cross this guy. He's terrifying. Even more so than like half the vampires I've met, and they were fucking terrifying. He's just like, yep, well,
Yes,
I'll get in touch.
yes. If you put together a shopping list, do pass it on to Miss Archambault, and I'm sure that we can arrange whatever it is you need.
I'm going to poke my head back in and be like, oh, Vince, I have that thing that you need. You know, the help.
Oh, fantastic. Well, in that case, Mr. Mallet, thank you very much. And I'll be sure to reach out if there's anything. And he just slowly like backs out of the room, like not making direct eye contact like you would with, you know, like if you're like trying to back away from a dangerous animal, you're just like, just keep looking at it, but don't make eye contact. Don't do that. Just keep looking and then out the door and turn.
Alex,
Yes.
did he just tell us to kill the prince?
You know what? I'm not going to think about that. We need a cure. I have to, I'm going to meet Vince downstairs and, I have to give him the thing that grandmother gave us. So yeah, I'll meet Vince at ground level.
Katerina, are you leaving with Marcus?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm Vince's ride, so I'll just let Vince know I'll be over at the car when you're ready.
Thanks, Marcus. I'll be over momentarily. What's up, Alex?
Okay. Grandmother gave me this to give to you, and it's a vial of dark red stuff. I mean, I assume it's blood. I don't know if Vince would.
Vitae or is it blood?
Well,
It's
that's
Vitae. Look at that. You can tell from the sheen. I mean, these are really nice vials, honestly. We use something similar.
Do you buy them in bulk? He's just kind of confused.
Anyways, grandmother said to give this to you for you to take it. It will help you. I'm assuming it's from her. So if we do the things that she needs, you will have a great mentor that knows many things. Also, seems to give less of a fuck about tradition, so to say, which I think would be for the best.
Vince just nods. He's like, I'm thinking I'm not made for tradition. Okay, well, and he just puts it in a jacket pocket. He's like, well, thank you very much for delivering that. And
I'm going to grab him by the shoulders and be like, she is really old. You need her help.
and he nods. He's like, I definitely do. I've crossed the Tremere clan whip. I definitely need her help.
Good. She's staying at Vera's place for now.
I
So
don't know
if
who
you
that
need
is.
anything, go. Give me your phone. I'll put the address in.
Does Vince say the I crossed the Tremere clan whip part out loud?
He just kind of leans in and says it. Yeah. He's like, yeah, I'm going to need help. I crossed the Tremere clan whip. Oh, yeah, absolutely. He doesn't say what he did. He's just like, I crossed her.
Yeah, that's why Alex paused briefly and probably just kind of shook their head and was like, ugh. Anyways, here's where I'm going to like put her address, Vera's address into your phone and tell you that this is where she's at. If you need anything, make sure to contact her and get any help you can. We all really need this.
All right. I'll do it.
Great. Thank you. And I'll pat him on the head, grab Rom, and hastily make for the car so that we can get our costumes on and go to our goddamn party.
He just waves as they're leaving. Enjoy your party, guys.
So, William, as the coterie leaves your office, what are you planning to do from here? What is the Hammer's business?
At the moment, I think I'm simply going to carry on waiting here and gathering information. At some point, I suppose I'd better pay a visit to the prince, just for protocol. I definitely need to catch up with Juanita Martinez at some stage. Actually, I suppose that should be the first thing. So, with having gathered a bit of information and planted a few seeds, I'll ask Miss Archambault to contact Juanita and let her know that I am available whenever she is, if she wants to get together and, have a drink and a chat.
Excellent. So, Sophie goes about your business, setting up your meetings for you, and you begin your machinations. Everyone else is heading out to their various and sundry obligations for the evening, with Alex and Rom heading to some kind of costume party. Vince has some rituals to attend to. And who knows what Katerina and Marcus are up to.
Well, I would like to state that Alex's costume is going to be that of a Greek goddess. So long flowing white dress, makeup, wig, everything. And then Rom gets a toga.
Sweet. I get to be the rent-a-twink.
And on that note, we will leave our Hellspawn headed out into the remaining elements of Halloween night, and we will come back next time to see what they learn. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Thank you again, Scott, for joining us, and have a good night.